Apologize for that issue she seems to be having with her audio. She's got the agenda in front of her, so hopefully she'll be able to get that sorted out so we can get that ball rolling. But in the meantime, is everybody staying warm?
No, I'm freezing.
Me too. I have been absolutely freezing. This whole this huge shift from being decent weather to being plunged into some of the coldest weather instantly has been a nightmare. Lost several of my plants, so that was very heartbreaking. So make sure you bring those in if you haven't already.
I got off and got back on because I thought it was my issue when I couldn't hear her.
Yeah. I was worried about that at first. I seen a whole bunch of people coming in and out, and I was admitting you guys back in, and I was like, well, I wonder what's happening here. But hopefully it'll looks like she's logging back on now, so hopefully she'll be able to get that sorted out. How are all the residents doing at your guys' facilities? Is flu bug hit or strep throat? I know strep throat has been really prevalent around my area.
I mean, we have a kid with strep throat.
Oh, you have one?
One kid.
Yeah, we had 7 in my house sick with it. So it hits, and it hits fast and hard. So be prepared for that and try to take any kind of precautions you can to try to limit the spread of that, because it was not a fun experience.
Shay, we can't hear you either.
Still can't hear you?
You got the wrong mic connected, maybe.
Okay. Well, Shay, let me pull up your agenda. I had not printed it off yet. See what we have on here. Okay.
Shay, sometimes you can go to your little mute button at the bottom, and you can select to change your mic if you click on that little up arrow. I know sometimes mine will default if it's docked or something, but where your little mute and up arrow is.
Okay. Well, so on the agenda, she has a shout outs for the agencies. So is anybody wanting to discuss any good things or great things that have been happening at the facilities, new things that have come about, anything you'd like to discuss?
What facilities are on here?
So what I've seen so far, it looks like we got Forest City, Miss Lockhart over there, and Helena was on here. I don't see her. Oh nope, there she is. And Piney Ridge. Who else do we have on here? I can't see everybody. No. Is that the extent of everybody we have today? Okay. Well, so nobody has any interesting topics they want to talk about? Any good things that have happened?
I can comment on something that happened that certain, and I'm sure everyone can identify, but adolescent males tend to like to tear up doors and punch holes in walls and things like that. And so we had an issue with a specific home, and it came up, and it's understandable why fix all this stuff if they're just going to tear it up anyway. And that being said, it still was repaired, and surprisingly enough, and I thanked every youth in that home. They were kind of proud that it looked good. It had quite the opposite effect. They weren't tearing anything up. There's been less incidents there now. I was really happy about that. That made me pleased. And I did. I made sure to thank every gentleman in that home. When I left, I said, good job, guys. Looks good.
Great. Love to hear things like that. Which brings us right back into the next point of topic on the agenda too, was some trending concerns that we had seen about the buildings and grounds. And just we wanted to remind everybody to make sure that you are walking outside your property and observing the outside of your buildings as well as the inside of your buildings. Just to focus and make sure that there's no harmful objects in the yard or around the area, and that it doesn't need any maintenance done to it. Wear and tear on the bathrooms and conditions of the bedrooms and the living areas, which take the most amount of abuse from residents. Making sure you're keeping up with those and paying attention to those. Making sure that you get your incident reports in timely. Those, we really need to make sure that we have those. Anything that's listed in 110.12 or 110.17, we need to have those by the next business day. We are citing for those if those are late. Now, I believe everybody on the call right now has been very good with that, and I want to thank you for ensuring that you are reporting timely. All right, let's see if we can. Sorry, hang on. Shay is getting in another way. Let's try it with this way.
I'll tell you one of the things that we're proud about at Piney is, Chelsea kind of knows our staffing struggles some time back. But as of today, we only have 4 direct care open positions. That's including nursing, techs, anybody that's in direct care. So that's something that we're real proud of. We know when we're not managing staffing issues every day, we can move on to quality improvement, programming, things like that. So something we're really proud of here at Piney.
Great, that's fantastic. I mean, it seems like we're starting to see a little bit of a bounce back with employment after in our, I can't even say post-COVID world because it's still lingering around out there. It just seems a lot less than it was, hopefully, knock on wood. I better knock on wood right now. But with those new employees, we do need to make sure that we are doing all that pre-service training and getting all that done and documenting it like we have outlined in the minimum licensing standards, especially for PRTFs. I will say that that's one thing I felt like I've talked to several facilities about. We do require that 10 hours of psychiatric specific training. And it's hard to determine which of your trainings, if they're not specifically outlined as psychiatric specific, are those. So we don't know which ones to count towards that 10 hours. So if you could just make sure that any training that you consider psychiatric specific that goes towards those 10 hours is outlined in your personnel files, that would be very helpful when we're coming to audit those charts. If you have, does it seem like everybody's able to get the required amount of training for their staff, like at 30 hours of annual training for the direct care staff? Is there a lack of training? Are you guys finding good training opportunities? I'd like to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we exceed 30 hours of training for sure. We have some additional trainings. One of the things we started this year that we're really, really proud of, and Renissa's on here, can speak to it as well. So is Trish Marshall, and they've been part of these trainings. So we do our town hall training, our town hall meeting, but we converted that this year. And what we did is it's an hour long. It's an hour-long training. It's offered twice a day. It's offered 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And we do a different topic every month. Last month, we did infection control. We've done safe touch in a no touch facility. We have done the proactive risk assessment, which trains our staff on, risks throughout the facility. We've done milieu management. So we do a different one every single month. Some of them are more clinically focused. Some of them are more operationally focused. But our last training, we had 98 people or 93 people attend. Which is a huge turnout for a town hall, especially in a PRTF setting. But our last 5 or 6, we've had between 80 and 93. And that's an additional training that we're doing just on top of our regular orientation, annual recertification, any kind of continuing training that we're doing. So yeah, I'm proud of the training we've been able to do here.
It sounds fantastic. And Ms. Charlotte, I know that your facility has been going through conscious discipline training. You want to talk to us about how that's been going? You're still on mute.
Okay. Conscious discipline is going, and what we did was we started out with the teachers in the classroom and with the clinicians, and then it'll roll out to everybody else and what they're going to do. And I forgot to send you the flow chart, but what's going to happen is Paulette and Anton is spearheading that, and Anton is the clinical director. They're spearheading that. They're going to get themselves and the teachers and the clinicians trained in it first, and then it'll trickle down to the rest of the direct care staff. So we are excited about it.
Great. So how have your staff been responding to it? Do they like the program?
Yes, it's like, can we use this at home with our kids? You can use it where, I mean, these are tools that you have and you can use them wherever. So yes, they are excited about it. And another thing, we had a gentleman to come in, and he was talking to one of the staff, and he asked her about the book, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Wolf. And so I did order that book for the direct care staff, and we're going to start a book club and discuss that book. So I think some exciting things are coming down the pipe.
Great. That sounds amazing. And you know, with it getting colder outside and the kids need to come in a little bit more often because it's getting too cold outside, having something for those kids to do is going to help cut down on those incident reports as well. So giving them something to focus on, because fall can be a stressful time for kiddos, especially with the holidays approaching and the things that they feel like they're missing out on, being in a facility instead of in their home environment or with their friends at school. So is there anything that anybody's doing to help kind of curb that? Any kind of pumpkin decorating? I don't know. What are you guys doing to help with the or plans you have for the holidays?
We have a gamut of activities here at Forest City. We will do in-house trick-or-treating. They have done for the school, they had door decoration contests, and they were actually creative, very creative beyond my imagination this year. They made cookies, individual cookies, decorating. They have a whole week of things that we have planned for the staff as well as the kids. So we're excited about the month of October.
Sounds great. Justin, do you guys have anything planned over at Piney? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, so you know, we're always doing something here. I think Chelsea knows that. I'll go back as far as I can remember. So 2 weeks ago we did campus-wide outing. We had 60 kids go out to Wilson Park and do an outing out in the community. We're still doing our regular outing, so we're still taking kids skating. They've been the newest thing they've been going to is like this gladiator park, where they do like climbing and things like that. We had a group go to Top Golf yesterday. So that was fun. Right now they're working on costumes for Halloween, because we'll do our campus-wide Halloween. And then next week's Spirit Week. Renissa and Trish, help me out here, because y'all know a little bit more than I do about what's going on.
Good morning. I'm Trish Marshall, and I work in
I'm
education.
gonna introduce Trish real quick. So Trish Marshall, for those of you who don't know, she's been in behavioral health for, I don't know, 25 years or so. I don't want to age her too much, but she's done a lot when Piney was Vista and some other things like that. So, but Trish, her last role was education director here for Piney and Vantage, and her new role here at Piney is she's the chief operating officer. So she'll be involved in some of these calls. Programming is going to roll up to her. She's going to help with improving some of our clinical stuff from an operations standpoint. She'll be assistant at QRTP, so we can welcome Trish.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to chime in and say
Good morning.
Good morning. 60 students that went to the park had perfect attendance in school. That's one of the things we measured, is attendance to school. It's a goal for us to make sure kids are attending school very regularly. And this pumpkin patch, we're going to the pumpkin patch at the end of this month as an education outing. And that is for kids who have stepped up the bar a little bit. They've attended school, they're turning in their assignments. And so we are visiting a pumpkin patch on the 28th, which is pretty exciting. We're going to have a lot of kids go there. As well as, I think we're doing the Masked Singer. We're having a carnival on the 28th. We really try to make a holiday as warm and as friendly and as active as we can, knowing that kids are away from home at this time. And Halloween is a very special child holiday that we want to honor those activities.
Can you share a little bit about what the student council is doing, Trish? I think that's so valuable.
So the student council is meeting regularly. We're collecting feedback from the students and finding out what it is that the students need for us to do either differently or improve on, or they also are planning activities. So on the pumpkin patch, when we went to the park, the student council delivered ice cream treats to everybody that went to the park. They're the leaders on our campus, and they're helping us collect information and make improvements just based on what the kids say. The pumpkin patch activity, and also there'll be a Halloween movie afternoon, and during the Halloween movie, the student council will serve popcorn and drinks, and they'll participate that way. But they have several projects that they've completed for us, like creating a recycling program for our whole facility, so we don't just throw away paper anymore. We recycle paper. Lots of different activities. We're really enjoying creating some leaders within our facility that they can have this success that they've experienced in leadership activities and when they leave.
And this is Renessa. If I could add that the staff or the departments, we're carving pumpkins or decorating them, and all the kids are going to vote on those pumpkins. And so we're trying to not only have it fun for the residents, but also the staff. Something a little different, Chelsea, if you don't mind, I want to mention, I guess I got to brag on where I work because I love it. But we had an audit from a different state this week. We have lots of audits. And they remarked that our campus looks more like a boarding school or some type of non-psychiatric residential, because all the residents decorated on the units. We've got a lot of different fun posters. And so that really made me and others feel proud that, we do not look like a sterile psychiatric residential facility. So I took it in a different direction, but I love Piney and I'm proud of it.
Well, that's great. It sounds like there's a lot of exciting things going on. The kids will not have idle hands anytime in the near future, it sounds like. So that's fantastic. And I'm glad, and I'm very happy to hear that you guys had such good reports, and the facility is remaining that open atmosphere and more comfortable home-like setting rather than, as you said, that psych setting that can get kind of depressing, to be honest. When it's really stale. So that's great to hear. Very great to hear. So we'll just move on to the next part of this, which is ELS, everybody's favorite topic, the new enterprise licensing system. Now, we had intended to do a walkthrough training today, but apparently my access has now been lost. So I was not able to get on there to be able to walk you through exactly how to submit the things that are required in there. But on the plus side, I do feel like both Forest City with Miss Helena and Renessa, you guys are doing a wonderful job submitting your instant reports into ELS. Do either of you have any questions about how or what or where anything should go inside of ELS right now that you could use some like one-on-one discussion with?
I don't know if I need one-on-one discussion, but I would really appreciate it if the actual 521s would be up there for me to be able to print.
Yes. And we did take that concern from the last meeting and we have placed a ticket in. So we have requested for an enhancement to be made to the system. They have a list of enhancements from us that we are requesting, and it takes time to get through those and process them. We have been notified that I believe it's weekly. Shay Clayton, correct me on that if I'm wrong. I think it's weekly updates that they're doing to the system as they go through those tickets. So a handful of tickets are completed and put onto the live site and issued. So a new version is released. I believe it's weekly. So we're just waiting.
Correct.
Oh, hey, hi Shay.
Hey,
So hopefully we'll see those start to come down the pipe and get out there. Another thing that we're also waiting on that it has been placed in is for you all to be able to have access to be able to enable or disable your staff access to ELS. So that is another thing that we've got out there. Hopefully we'll get that, but as of right now, we can still do up to 3 people per facility. So if anybody is out and needs to be able to submit an incident, we still have extra people on standby that can submit those reports for those people while they're out. And just a reminder that those are requirements to submit those incidents and board requests, new licenses or change of information requests are all supposed to come through ELS. And if you do have any difficulties with any of that, please just let me know. If it's something I can help with in education wise, then I can help you with that, walk you through it. We can share our screens and just walk through it. If it's more of an IT issue, then I can get a ticket in to have our team help you guys, or help me help you guys. Okay. And just a reminder to please make sure that we're putting the resident's name, date of birth, guardianship status, and if there's any police contact or staff's name into those reports when you are submitting them in ELS. And if there's any corrective action or a safety plan that had to be placed, go ahead and add that into the description when you're putting it into ELS, because that's one of the first things that we're going to ask you for. If say a child tried to self-harm and you ended up putting them on line of sight, but you didn't put line of sight in the report to us, we're going to be calling and asking what's the safety plan for this child. So it kind of cuts down on that email or phone calls if we have that already in the report in ELS. Okay. Most of the rest of the stuff. Oh, and those bell notifications that you have on ELS, make sure you're checking those, because anytime we do anything in ELS on our end, it will alert you on your end with those notifications. Okay. And that's all I had for ELS. If nobody has any questions regarding it, but I think most of you have my email. And if you don't, does anybody not have my email to be able to reach out to me on here? No. Okay.
Chelsea, will you put it in the chat box just for anyone that may need it?
Absolutely. In case anybody else is having mic issues.
What all have you guys covered on the agenda?
All of it.
Okay, well, sorry that I could not be more like present during the meeting. I was trying to get my my microphone issues worked out. But I'm pretty sure Chelsea covered everything that was on our agenda. And I want to thank the providers that are, you guys that are working so hard to try and make your facility as much of as a home-like setting possible, with still being able to provide the treatment and other services, but giving them some fun things that, that they can look back in life and think about. And if you guys don't have anything else today, then I'm going to give you some of your time back. And have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you.